it's important to have like people with different backgrounds, different races, different stories to share, because what I might take from a situation you might not take from, like you might be able to tell me, listen, this is triggering, don't say
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
don't do it, don't, like, this is really offensive. I just hope that South Africa like is really mindful of what they choose to put on their platforms. Be mindful of people around you, be mindful of your thoughts. Even though what you feel is valid, it doesn't mean you need to share it with everyone all the time.
Yeah. Hey dolls, welcome to Unfiltered with myself, Sihle Makanya, where we have honest and unfiltered conversations with people from different walks of life, where they share their stories without feeling judged or looked down upon. Enjoy. Bianca, do you think that when everything happened, first of all, when you entered Miss South Africa, like, what was your intention going into entering the competition and just the love you received from social media?
So I grew up with this 8-year dream of becoming Miss SA. It wasn't like a dream since I've been born. It
Yes.
was actually once I started going to church, I felt like God pressed this platform onto my heart.
Mm.
And just it literally just the previous year, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I think this is a platform that I can use to spread God's word. And at the time, it was literally just to also raise awareness for mental health. So in January of 2020 last year, I said to Sean, we got an opportunity to come to France. And I said to him, you know what, in my heart, I feel like this is pressed on my heart. I want to enter for me. It's my dream. And we said, you know what, let me enter. If you never try, you'll never know.
Yeah.
And let me, like, God will make the decision for me. If I do get through, maybe God is using me for another purpose. If I don't get through, I'm still coming to France. God will use me then on another path. So it was a hard decision to enter, and it was a hard decision to just go through the whole process. You do put yourself out there. It was the first time entering like this ever. So even my video, like I took it, it was like the worst video ever. I took it was one shot video. It wasn't like
Really?
it was literally one video, and I said I don't want to change anything. What I said is what I said. It is what it is at this point. So
Yeah.
I definitely want to use the platform for just like spreading that awareness for mental health, and also just spreading God's love. I think if you look at South Africa as a relationship, the biggest problem is communication. I think South African with each other, with the government, with systems, with everything in South
Everything.
Africa.
Yes.
That was the main thing for me, is just how can we communicate better, how can we understand better, how can we share better. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that the main goal, the main platform was for the platform. It wasn't for the heels and the dresses, even though I was super ready to wear dresses.
I was so
It was
excited for you. I remember when you told me, like, I've now like entered, and go and check on Twitter, go retweet. And when I saw you had over like 750 something retweets, I was like, oh my God, this girl's going to win. Like, she's gonna make it.
I was so excited. I never had such a like overwhelming response. I think um I actually didn't want to post it on Twitter because it wasn't as I literally was on Twitter when I was younger. Then I left it for like 3 years. And then only last year I started getting active again.
Yeah.
And so I didn't post it on Twitter, but then something was just like, you know what? It's
Just do
about
it.
putting yourself out there, just do it for it. And I initially got a really good response. I think there was like the signature photo of me looking this way.
This way,
And
yes.
no, it was a fun like three days. It was a fun 3 days.
And then, and then, and then, and then, and then.
I actually went to sleep, and I remember I was like up until 10 o'clock on Twitter, everybody's sharing the videos and whatever. And I decided, you know what? At the time, I was working and studying.
Yeah.
And just had a lot going on. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go to bed. All this excitement, I'll do it tomorrow. And then the next morning, my mom actually phoned me awake. And she never phones in the morning ever. So I knew like something's happening. Wrong. And she was just like, don't go onto the news, don't open your phone, don't do this, don't do this. And I was like, what is happening? And it took me like a full hour to grasp what was happening online. And at the time, I didn't even know about hashtags and stuff like trending on Twitter. I didn't know Twitter trends. I didn't even know anything. And then I think I opened the first 3 or 4 tweets, and then immediately I was like, I'm not going to look any further. Like
what were they saying? Was it the tweets that were attacking you at that point?
It was like, I think it was the girl who actually went through the tweets. She just posted shots and she was like, this is your queen. And then when I saw them, I saw my old tweets for the first time as well. And I was like,
shucks.
Bianca, who are you?
Bianca, like, who's this? With your face next to it.
Yeah, I was like, this the profile picture does not match the tweet.
Exactly.
And I think from there, at least I made it a point to not really go onto any news articles. I didn't really open any news articles. I think I opened one at the very end, and that was like from the Times Live or something. But other than that, I didn't read anything. I didn't open any links. I didn't immediately respond to messages. I obviously went through all the DMs because there were a lot of people who still supported me.
Yes.
Everything happened. So I just like let them know, listen, I'm still alive, living
through it all.
And I went through obviously a lot of hateful messages as well.
Yeah.
And I think what hurt the most was like in that moment, you think about the people you hurt indirectly without even knowing it. They might have been people who tweet for the first time. Most of them, I think I had like 100 followers when I like went on Twitter, like
you did
before my video.
Yes.
And I opened Twitter and I had like 7,000 followers, and I was like,
what is this?
What's happening? And it was, I think it hurt me more knowing that I could have hurt people by, memes that I reshared or posted back then it actually hurt me knowing that I had to leave a competition, or that I had to like kind of close those accounts and kind of put it in the past.
Yeah. Because I remember when everything was happening, and I think we spoke like, and I just tried to encourage you for like 3 days, right? And when you were like, I don't understand why. I mean, you understood why people were upset, but I think you didn't understand why the backlash was so intense. And I think like for the first day, I was trying to explain like, okay, actually, this is what's people's frustration. And even though I wanted to go on Twitter and say, listen, my experience of her has never been racist. And yes, I understand the tweets, but I don't think it's because she's racist. I think obviously it's because, like we said earlier when we were talking, like you go to a multiracial school, you have Black friends, Indian friends, friends of all races, right? And when I look at, like I said via phone call with you, that when I look at my nieces and they're interacting with their white friends, there's some words that the white kids will say, not knowing that actually this is a derogatory term, So I think at the time, because you were also still very confused and very emotional, I said, you know what, I'm going to give you a bit of space. And when everything's blown over, maybe we'll have a chat. And then I'll also just try and explain to you, this is actually why people are upset. And you were so open to it. And that's a thing a lot of people don't know. And when I went through just the reactions again yesterday, and I was like, people don't know. Like, you were so receptive, and you even took the time out to read through other people's explanations. And would you want to share as well what you learned from that experience?
I think immediately I think a lot of the time when you see these people being cancelled, you see these people like I could have gone on and bashed everyone who like
Yeah,
exposed me, or I could have gone on with a very like with a lot of hatred in my heart or a lot of pain or anger just because of like essentially everything that you lose in the process.
yes,
But I didn't want anything to be rushed, or I think I mentioned to you, um, there were a lot of newspapers that wanted to interview me immediately, so many phone calls, so many magazines, and I just said no to all of them because I felt like, you know what, this is not the time. This is something that I need to process and I need to work through, because there is a reason that people are responding the way that they are responding. There's a reason that people still like have so much pain in their heart. There's a reason
yeah,
that we need to follow these channels, and that's also why a lot of people who messaged me on Instagram or Facebook and said they also shared these memes, but this is why this was hurtful, or this is
mm,
how this could come off as very insensitive. And I think like one person said to me like the fact that it took like 6 years worth of tweets to find something negative about you is also a positive thing.
that's
Like if
true.
I who like was just bashing everyone all day for like 6 years, and it would have been a different story. But I think I just wanted to take everything in. I do want, even in general life, I do want your feelings to be validated as well. What I
Yes,
feel is you feel is also valid, and like we need to understand, why am I feeling this way, why are you feeling this way, what have my
yes,
actions caused you to feel, what have your actions caused me to feel. And I definitely immediately wanted to speak to the girl who obviously went through all of these tweets, just to kind of understand from a perspective like, why did you feel in this moment that, you know, this is kind of the path that you were taking? Why couldn't you maybe come to me privately and ask me, listen, please remove these things? Because I wasn't even aware that they were still up. Like I said,
yes,
I never went through like thousands of tweets to like, I just kind of took it for granted, I think.
yeah,
And speak to her, and there was a lot of fake news also, which I was trying to just, I think most importantly, wanted to redirect the fake news into something that, listen guys, not every, you should not believe everything that you see, because so many things escalated. And I think um everybody kind of put in their 2 cents, which also again is valid. Like you could
yeah.
say what you wanted to vent about. I took everything in. I didn't reply or respond to anyone with hate, even people who like wished death or rape or violence or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, yeah. There was those.
Yeah, they were those. And even them, I wasn't angry at all. Not even once in that period that everything happened, for the months that followed. I wasn't angry once. I wasn't upset that someone outed me, or I wasn't looking at it in a perspective like, listen, now I need to get back at this girl who did this, or
Mm,
I need to find on someone else. I just wanted to take it in because, like I said, I think the reaction was so big. There were so many underlying things in South Africa that at the time even happened that people just refuse to talk about. People just want to push everything under the rug and just
that's
kind of move
true.
on. And
Yes.
I just, even though I was like the scapegoat, it's like I had to, they had to be something that got people talking, and there had to be something that just, you know, there are 100% unresolved issues and problems in South Africa, and if the sooner we talk about them, the sooner we can see that, listen, this is offensive, this isn't offensive, this was ignorance, this was racism, if you get
Yes,
what I'm.
I get you. I think on that topic, like you said, that there's certain discussions that we need to have. So obviously, there's people that are watching who are not aware of what you have now learned since the tweet. And I've personally re-gone through the tweets, and the only one that was offensive and that had any racial connotation. I think there were two of them. There's one where you mentioned the N word. I think you had retweeted a meme with the N word, and there's another one where it was a photo of a really dark skinned boy, and I think, you know, because there are other white people or Afrikaans people who also will be watching, who might look at this and say, well, I still don't think that Bianca was wrong. It was just a joke. And when we had this conversation and I explained to you that there are certain triggers if some people or a person of a certain race does it. So can you just explain also to people what you have also now learned and understand now as to what the harm was behind the tweets?
So I think so the tweets were like 2013, 2014. Even though I don't want to say I was young, I was, but whatever. I think from, let's say, like, I think I told you I wasn't always so committed to my faith, and I said I was a Christian, but I didn't really live out those values. And I think that only happened like 4 or 5 years ago, and though that happened after I tweeted those things. And even since my journey with God and just my journey with faith, you learn to treat people differently. You learn to kind of censor these memes. I think, again, if you went through after 2015, you would see that I never reposted those kinds of memes, no matter what the race was in the memes. I just stopped posting like memes that could come off as sensitive. And even to this day now, like after last year, I think I'm a lot more sensitive to even people around me. I think without you realizing it, you do share memes just because South Africans find humor in
everything.
Even with everything, even this week, everything that happened, people still find humor. I think that's like a coping mechanism for South Africa at this point.
That's true.
And I think even though like humor has a time and a place, I think when it comes to social media platforms, it might not be the best place to share it. I think even like I said, we are human. Even the memes that I saw these past few days, you do laugh at them for a second, but then when you think about the consequences, like that meme is funny now, but like the picture is real. The picture is what is happening. It is the situation. So I think I got a lot censored. Not only after last year, I think I'm just extremely censored now, but I think over the past 3 or 4 years, I think you kind of do see it. And even from here, when we went back to South Africa a few weeks ago, you definitely feel the change in behavior in people. And I'm not even talking about race, I'm talking about everyone. I think there's so much tension in South Africa. Like we could feel it after a year of being in France. When we went back, you could kind of feel, you don't know what to say, when are those triggers really triggering, what is my triggers, what is your triggers, like what is this person's trigger. And people don't talk about it. People don't say, listen, this is offensive, listen, this is not acceptable. Because like I said, even though humor is like consolidating to everybody finds comfort in humor, there needs to be someone who says, listen, even though you find this funny, I find this offensive.
Yes.
And I think nobody, like when you are in school and you're 14 years old, you want to share all the latest memes, you share all the latest tweets, you don't really, like I said, there's a meme and then there's the actual picture.
Yes.
The connotation it has.
Candid, yeah.
People don't look at that. I think even to this day, if you go on Twitter, you'll find something offensive in someone's feed somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
No one just goes ahead and says, listen, this is offensive.
Yeah, in an educational and loving way.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I also tried to contact her. I think I also wanted to consolidate her. Like, listen, I think she also got a lot of hate, or like some of my supporters, if I had that many, might have messaged her as well. And I just want to know as well, like what you did was not wrong. It might have been the wrong path or the wrong route that you took, or like not the best one, but I'm not angry at you. I have learned a lot. And even I wish she made the 2020 version of Bianca and the 2014 version, and then she would have seen just the 6-year difference.
The difference, like yes. Do you feel like sorry to cut your thought there. Do you feel like because I I don't know. Well, I'm not white, obviously, and I'm not Afrikaans either. But do you feel like within as a white person and as an Afrikaans person, do you feel like the conversation around race in your community, especially amongst, like, speaking of Black people, I don't know, do you think that the conversation about how we should treat each other, whether it's as Black people or as colored people or inter races, is it discussed a lot within your community or not really? Because as a Black person, I don't know the conversations that happen, behind closed doors.
I
But this is just your perspective, obviously.
This is the big thing. Like, we actually, before even the whole Miss SA thing, we call it the Miss SA thing. We just
Yes.
before it happened, even in our house, we used to bring it up a lot. Like I said, my parents, we are a family that hates injustice either way, like towards either, doesn't matter, it's not racial based. But even within our community, when we see something or someone being treated wrong, we won't leave it there. In the school that I went to a mixed race school, and I must say it was super, super equal there though. Like, there was never any like segregation or anything. But I think but we are a small town. Like, everybody knows. All of us are friends. Like, you'll see someone somewhere either way. Like, but I think in like bigger cities, for example, Johannesburg, maybe, you don't get in touch with so many different groups because you are so focused on your life and you go and you work and you this and you that. But I think, and this might come off as wrong, or like, I'm like, try to listen to what I'm saying. So, like, as a white person, a lot of the conversations in our household is, I just wish that more people of color could see that we, again, it's probably different for each white person.
Everyone, yes, but this is just from your perspective. Disclaimer, hey, before people say you're speaking on behalf of all white people.
We definitely want, as much as we want unity, as much as the next person, we want unity, as much as, why would we not want to live in a country where literally everybody gets along? Like, imagine that country, imagine how friendly, imagine like the inviting communities that they would be. But at the moment, it's like nobody is that buffer saying that, listen, we accept you, you accept us, let's just talk about it. Let's talk about anything that you might know, or like things that you still have questions about, things that you are unsure. I think that, in my opinion, in our household, that's a big conversation, is how, we wish we could just like literally openly say, listen, we love everyone. We just want everyone to, because it doesn't benefit white people, and it doesn't benefit Black people, and it doesn't benefit anyone to be segregated.
That's true. Do you understand though that a lot of the frustration that people have, and us as Black people have, is obviously based off the past, especially because every single Black person, whether you are rich or let's say your father is the president, or whether you are the poorest of poor, we are somehow at some point met with injustice because of the system, right? Do you understand that a lot of the frustration comes from that? Because even if we can fight for, or you can say like, I want equality, but the system is not in favor for a Black person. And do you understand that being pro-Black and wanting good for Black people doesn't mean that I want every white person, including Bianca, to suffer, Do you understand that?
Like I said, this quote that I read, that was like, I'm not comparing what happened in South Africa all those years ago with Hitler, but like they said with Germany, they never bashed Germany. They told Germany why what you are doing was wrong. Kind of educated them, saying like, listen, this is why genocide is literally wrong.
Wrong,
I
yeah.
don't could be wrong, but they never went to South Africans or like the white people, and they never said to them, this is why this was wrong. This is why, like, a part that should have never existed. And it's something that we also say to till this day, like, it should have never happened. Like, for like for us to think that way, just this, it's a system that's flawed.
So
Like,
do you
from the
think that we
beginning.
should have
And
a
like,
conversation? You think that Black people we should have had in the beginning an honest conversation with white people, like you're saying? Is that what you think could help?
I think that if, like I said, I don't know how receptive other white people are or other people in general are of conversation, being open with one another, but I do believe in just kind of laying it all on the table. Say what you are feeling, say why that you are feeling that. Every feeling is valid, you know, and we all need to understand that what this person goes through is valid because it's not your life. What
Yeah.
this person feels is valid, but we definitely need to say them before we can validate them.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. And that's why I really wanted this conversation. And I know that we'll probably get really mixed reception. I know. And you also warned me yesterday that people might attack me as well for having this conversation. But you're absolutely right. I do think that we do need to get to a point where we sit down, and I think our generation is the generation where we just need to have an honest conversation about race, like, and about, especially about how we feel as Black people, because there's still a lot of anger and there's a lot of triggers that are still there.
That's why I didn't respond to anything like that through, you know, through people I've never met. That's why I'm saying that was what was the worst of it all, was knowing that you hurt people that you don't even know without even knowing it.
Yeah.
You hurt people that you never met, and it's not your hurt, it's because of things that they had to grow up with, or things that were carried over to them, or stories that they have heard from long ago. And that was the worst of it all, was knowing that, you know what, I, Bianca, like, contributed to hurting someone that I unintentionally never ever in a million years would have wanted to hurt. And that's still ongoing with
that's true.
It didn't stop with outing one person. It's like, you still need to enforce it. Like, these racial conversations need to happen. Like, we live in a modern, changing world. The conversations will change, the people will change. I can promise you, there are so many people who, like, live in peace, but the media will seem that that's not the case.
That's true.
Like, I know, like, for example, I also felt bad for the people I went with to university, because we were so close at the time. We still, but I mean, I went to university, I was one of 2 white people in the class, and like, we were friends with everybody. And to look like this person that I wasn't for 3 years, it was really hard, because now, yes, I've spent 3 years with these people, I've lived with these people, but will they feel the same way about me? Will they kind of believe what the media is saying? Will they they have a conversation with me? And luckily, all of them, like, I immediately apologized to all of them. I was just like, listen, friend, this is not who I am. Like, please. Please raise your opinion over the last 3 years, and not over like a tweet from 6 years ago. But I think we, even in those spaces, had conversation about race, even like from my first year to my third year, even unintentionally, we just brought it up because people were like willing to speak about it. And that was probably the best for friendship, best for the classroom, best for relationships. I think more people need to do that.
Honestly. How do you think people should have handled everything during that time, in your opinion? Because I know that you did say that you felt like a lot of the, not the attacks, but I mean, people saying to you that you deserve to get raped and all of that. I mean, that was extreme and uncalled for. So how do you think that people should have how do you think people should have used that Miss SA entry situation as an educational moment for not just you, but for other white people who put things out there without realizing that this is for those who do it without realizing that it's offensive, because there are those who do it because they're really trying to offend Black people.
Intentional.
Yes.
Agreeing. I 100% agree. I think, like I said, when I could have kind of taken it until the death threats and stuff, because then it starts getting to your own safety.
That's true.
But that was also the thing that made me realize the deep hurt people felt. Like, if you would wish that on someone, you must really be hurting inside.
Yeah.
I felt sorry for them, like, for feeling that way about me. No, it's fine. I felt so sorry for them. Like, imagine what must be going on in your heart that you would want to inflict so much like hatred and pain onto someone else. And then I just thought, like, these people are saying things that they might not even in 3 years they will regret maybe saying that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm in the same spot as you. I'm not going to take it personally. Kind of vent it out, even though it was extremely violent way to vent it out. But I don't know, I wish that I had a conversation with them earlier, or just a lot of these people who actually sent me these things, I messaged them like a few months later, just kind of touching base again, kind of just asking, like, listen, even trying to explain, like, I'm sorry for my part in everything, and I hope that you are okay. Like, even though you sent messages, I hope that you could move past this, and I hope that this was something that everybody saw as, listen, I think a lot of people actually went through their social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even went through, like, I saw even Shame. I saw they even like found stuff on everybody's accounts.
Even Zozi even came out herself and said she found like past Facebook posts and that she's also had to delete, Yeah.
And I think a lot of people actually told me, listen, please enter Miss SA again, or you know what, this is such a big building step for you. Like, next year you can come and advocate for exactly this. And like, for a split second, I did think about it. Like, listen, it is something that was pressed on my heart, but I also do trust God more than I trust myself.
Yeah.
So God could not be clearer about me not entering Miss SA. Like, he could not give me a louder sign of, listen, please stay away from this.
Yes. But but I really hope, because I said to you afterwards, I think it was a few months later, I said, I really hope that one day when you're ready, you could, when you do decide to have like a YouTube channel or something, maybe this could be one of the things that you could tap into, where you as a white, beautiful woman could start educating other white people about why certain things are not okay. Because if I say it as a Black woman to someone else, like, I can say it to you because I know you, and I know that if I say to you, Bianca, saying like a Black person is too dark, or mentioning the N-word is offensive for me as a Black person, you are very quick to receive it and know that I'm not meaning it in a horrible way, but I just want to correct you as a friend, right? But if there's other people who, if I had to say the same thing to them, they think, here's an angry Black woman, always want to make everything about race. So I do hope that when you are ready, that you do one day use your platform to educate other white people about why certain things are not okay for people to be done. Yes.
It is definitely, like I said, I think all of this happened for a reason. It was obviously a lot to deal with last year. And like I said, a lot of things that I had to work through was not even my own pain, was other people's pain that they felt. And I even, like I said, the community that we are in, we were very honest about it from the start, and we like really sympathized with people who felt so offended, again, unintentionally reposted, ignorant. And I just said, I think that's like the thing that I told my mom the whole time, is like, what must these people go through right now? Like, what are they going through, thinking that I'm someone who I really am not?
Yeah.
And you definitely have to have those conversations, no matter who you are, where you are. And like I said, it's important to have like people with different backgrounds, different races, different stories to share, because what I might take from a situation, you might not take from. Like, you might be able to tell me, listen, this is triggering, don't say this, don't do it, don't, like, this is really offensive, like I said. And like, since coming to France, I said, like, Sean and I spoke about it yesterday. I said to him, like, it's so sad knowing that like race is such a big issue in South Africa, but once you get here, there are people of color, like literally in his team, and we are such good friends with them, and there's no racial block, there's no ever like walking on an edge, like, will this be offensive, won't this be offensive? I said to him, like, I feel like every time we go to South Africa, like, I feel like people are so on edge the whole time, and from all communities, not even
that's
from one
true.
side. Everyone is so ready for like a bomb to explode. You get what I'm like?
I understand completely.
You don't know how other people are responding. And I said that I wish people could just like say what you feel and be honest about it. If I say something that offends you, say it. Or if you say something that offends me, I 100% will tell you.
Yes.
Family, we all like that as well. If someone says something within our family and it offends me, I will tell them, listen, please take that back. That offended me. So I think if people just are honest with their feelings, and that's something that I don't know about cultural things, but for like white South African men, we were, especially my dad, I've never seen him cry ever. And it's because he is someone who keeps all his emotions for himself, and he was raised like that, and it's fine. Like, you can child however you want, but he always taught us to, if something is bothering you, say it. Something is not right, say it. If you have something on your heart, say it. And I think if all of us can like kind of spread that, say what you feel, your feelings are valid, you just need to be in the right room with the right people who will accept what you are saying and will validate. And what you are feeling is so true. And even with my university friends, as a white person, I was curious about a lot of things. Like, I do ask them, like, listen, how is this here? Or how, like, for example, I asked, I'm not going to say the girl's name.
It's okay.
Don't want her to be.
Don't get her in trouble.
I ask her like a lot of things, like, listen, how does this work? Or for example, how does taxi fares work? And she explained everything to me, and everything. For me, it was so interesting, but for her, that was kind of her life. Like,
that's a part of her life.
And it should really not come off as insensitive or anything, but it was, to me, like, I kept asking more and more and more questions, because I've never heard it. I've never heard, like, for example, her specific struggles. I've never heard. And it was so interesting, because then the next time, for example, there was I roomed with someone, and she loved getting braids in her hair. Right? And weekend, I said to you, like at 3 a.m. there would be someone at the door coming to do her braids. Why do you need someone to come at 3 a.m. on a weekday to do your braids? And then explain to me why, like the process and this and that. And I never knew. And I'm glad I asked. They were also very open to me asking, because again, I might ask something and you would be like, that's very offensive. Don't ask that. But luckily I roomed with two girls. One of my roomies is like a Miss SA finalist now. So I'm so happy.
Hey. What's her name?
Cool.
Oh, okay. Is it what's from Dachi? I think.
Yes.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
No, she was like, have you ever seen like any movie ever? She always had this little, she looked like a Chanel model.
Oh
She
my
always had
goodness.
she always had this outfit on. It was like a
Pleated. Yeah.
pleated like jacket and skirt. And she was like, I think
Prim and
she
proper.
was the president of everything back then.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
like she always had hair, like she was just I was like, what? This person is perfect. But yeah, they taught me a lot. We grew very close. I still had contact with them after university, and they also sent me messages when it happened. But that's what I mean. Like, you have to go and just sometimes be uncomfortable and ask.
Yeah.
You don't ask, you won't know, and you won't kind of get to be in someone else's shoes for one day.
Yeah. But now, in closing, what would you like to share with people as to what you're doing now, and the one message that you would want people to know post the Miss SA thing? Because this is obviously this is the first interview you've done since then, and I'm sorry that obviously the media in South Africa wanted to use your experience to dig an even bigger hole for you. But post that, what is the one thing that you would want people to know about you, and just to know that you've learned since then and who you are?
I do wish that got to see the reborn Bianca, because I got reborn a few years ago. And even me now, I can say the person I was back then is a different person to who I am now. And I'm not even about the last 3-4 years, but especially from last year, I think I definitely have learned also to validate a lot of people's feelings. I think I used to be, even again in my own family, I used to block out something that I didn't want to hear. And I got to a point where, why would my feelings be more valid than your feelings? Something's got to give. And I definitely, like I said, I just wish I could tell the person who obviously went through everything, I hope that you are okay, and I hope that you didn't get too much backlash. And I just hope that South Africa is really mindful of what they choose to put on their platforms. Be mindful of people around you. Be mindful of your thoughts. Even though what you feel is valid, it doesn't mean you need to share it with everyone all the time. You can sometimes just keep it to yourself. And especially with memes, I think, again, South Africa humor, it's just don't. But like I said, it sometimes repercussions that you put online, and I'm talking about like my thing exploding. I did lose a lot. I did, even though I was at peace with God, I went through a lot of materialistic things being lost, jobs being lost. Obviously we had to move, we had to that. Like a lot of things happened that I didn't share with people. But you as South Africa have the power to literally end people's livelihoods, not lives. But lives.
And lives. Some people commit suicide.
And I think you got someone who is strong. Like, I think if I was maybe someone who hasn't met God, who hasn't been faithful, or who's been at a really dark place, even my mom said to me, she said, if this had happened 4 years ago or 5 years ago, it would have been the end of my life, literally. But the fact that it happened to the reborn Bianca, it changed everything. And I still do believe it was from God. I don't think that the devil sent it on my way. I did literally pray for God to be like, listen, God, if I'm supposed to be in Miss SA, put me there, put me on the stage. If I'm supposed to be there, literally take everything away. He literally did.
He took everything away.
I'm gonna take everything.
Everything.
I wasn't even angry at God. I said to Sean as well so many times, this is literally what I prayed for. Even though it came out way. This is what I prayed for. I literally said to God, if it's not for me, take everything. If it is for me, I'll be there. And looking back now, everything worked out exactly how God intended it to.
Yeah.
It might, for people who might go through this in the future, it might seem like the end of the world for 3-4 weeks, and you might lose everything and everyone for 3-4 weeks. But I promise God is there for you. He has something better for you, and just trust him. Like, I think if I didn't trust God with everything, I would
Yes.
have. But every time Sean said to me, but what about this? But what about this? Or my parents asked me, but what about this? You don't have a job anymore. You don't have this anymore. I would just be like, you know what? Let's stay calm. Like this, it's in the Bible. This was promised to
Yes.
me. Let's relax. But in regards to race in South Africa, racial issues, we still, I'm going to be honest, have a super long way to go. I think there are stubborn white people. There are stubborn people of all races. There are
Yeah.
stubborn people who don't want to have these conversations. And we need to let these people know it's okay to have them.
Yeah.
It's not us trying
No.
to find solutions.
Yeah.
It's us trying to not make this a thing. It's us trying to really have that unity that everybody wants. Everybody wants
Yes.
unity.
Yeah,
Even
that's true.
everybody wants to live in peace. Everybody wants to get along. And like I said, a lot of us do get along. We don't have a problem.
Yes.
But you need to infiltrate every community. You need to infiltrate every family. You need to really get it out there. Like, listen, if we stop making it a problem, it will stop.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Bianca, for your time. It wasn't that bad, right? Because I wanted to. Hey?
No, it was everything I needed. And I think, I hope it goes well.
It will. I wanted to have the conversation because since all the looting's been happening, I think it's been so bad. Hey, a lot of people, hi Lily. A lot of people have been using the looting incidents. Some of them have been making it like a racial issue. And when you can be frustrated without having to be racist, like I am also frustrated. I'm a young Black woman that is also frustrated, but I'm not gonna go and like be racist. Exactly. So I thought, like, when I had a conversation with another friend of mine, I realized that, you know what, maybe we just need to have a hard conversation. And I'm sorry that you had to go through what you went through last year.
Okay, I think with me especially, I think more than ever, this is where communities come together. And I've seen so many communities online, even though the backlash and the looting and like the crime in general, I've seen so many people, races, ages, cultures, like everyone got together. And I hope that, even though, again, it's such a bad situation to come together in, but
we're coming together.
It's a bad situation to unite over, but we are uniting.
That's true. That's true.
People, when it comes to serious problems, you don't see race.
No, yeah. I know, and like, sorry to cut you, I know in my community, it's predominantly white. And when the looting was happening, I'm telling you, everyone came out to protect the community, and Black, white, Indian, colored, people came out like just to protect. And I was so shocked to see that there's some communities where they were segregated, because where I was and other communities nearby, people of all races were coming together and protecting their community,
I think everybody is so ready to move and like to kind of be like, listen, let's open this chapter, let's talk about this chapter, but then let's close, let's move on. And I think even though God works in mysterious ways, I'm not saying God sent looting. I'm saying that God might use this and be like, listen, guys, do you see what we can do if we do it?
If we work together, because we're all hurtful with the government.
like I said, this isn't even a race issue. This is systems failing people.
Yes.
And I'm not systems failing South Africa.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, but that's what I'm saying. So many things have been opened up again because the government isn't stepping in. Like people
Yes.
just assume it's a racial thing. They assume it's this, they assume it's that. But I'm happy that communities are getting together. I'm happy that, you know, people are standing together and they like wholeheartedly mean it.
Yeah.
Like when we see all that we can obviously experience is what's on Facebook and what's on media and what's online. And we see so many white people, black people, Indians, colors, like everybody coming together.
Yeah.
I think hopefully we could use this as an opportunity to see, like, listen, everybody gets along.
Yeah. We can get along. We can. Like,
yeah. Need to say that we need to just say, listen, but
this is what's frustrating us. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what, if we can get along now, why can't we get along next Friday? Like, why can't we get along?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I get you.
Throw it out there and just get it out of the way.
Yeah, you're right. Well, thank you so much.
Hey dolls, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notification buttons to get more on my podcast, Unfiltered, with me, Sihle Makanya.